Hi, everybody. Welcome to Oktoberfest. It is a great time today. I have a great keynote speaker, someone I've actually known since around 2008 when I was an SDR at NetCordia. Since then, I've built over $1.5 billion worth of pipeline in the tech market using ZoomInfo data. And I couldn't be more excited to bring on Henry Schuck, who actually took ZoomInfo public back in June. And Henry, it's very much a pleasure to have you on the call today. I know we're going to talk about top of funnel, mid funnel, how to keep the year going strong and closing out the end of this year as strong as you can as well. So appreciate you joining and welcome.
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. I'm happy to be here. I can't believe it was 2008, 12 years now. Matt, you've always been a great advocate of ZoomInfo and Discover.org at the time, and we've always been big fans of what you're doing with qualified meetings. If you guys haven't talked to Matt and his team, they are experts in sales development for the IT and software businesses. They spent a lot of time becoming domain experts in that space. And in that world, there are a lot of snake oil salesmen. And it's really great to have a reputable firm and reputable people like Matt and the team he's put together that we can refer clients to when they're looking for ways to augment their outbound motions. So excited to be partnering with you here and excited to bring you we were going to do 10, we got to 12, but 12 campaigns ZoomInfo is running right now that are going to impact our 2021 numbers. And you're coming into the end of the year. It's easy to go, look, we're just going to focus on finishing out the year and finishing it out strong. But you got to make sure you're putting the tracks in place right now to make sure you don't just fall over the line at the end of the year, but you're sprinting across it. So we'll talk a little bit about all of the different things that we're doing. Again, my name is Henry Schuck. I'm the founder and CEO of ZoomInfo. And this is my Twitter and ZoomInfo's Twitter if you want to tweet anything at us or ask us any questions. So we've broken this up into 3 sections: top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. And the campaigns we're running to affect all 3 of those areas. So starting in the top of the funnel, the first one is enterprise account air cover programs. And so one of the big areas of growth for our business is growing in the enterprise. And for many of you, enterprise customers for us that are over 1,000 employees are incredibly important to your business. In those accounts, there's a lot happening and there are multiple decision makers making decisions. And so we've built always on engagement plays that include customized display advertising, content syndication, direct mail, webinars, and sales campaigns that are targeted across enterprise accounts. They're ongoing so that we're always talking to the enterprise accounts. We always have a motion that's going at the accounts that we're trying to grow inside of the enterprise. And then one of the things that we've made sure that we focus on today is that when we're talking, is that the message that we're sharing with the enterprise customers are stage appropriate. And so when we have no relationship with them, that messaging is different than when we're deep in an opportunity and we know that at some point they're going to pull in information security and procurement. And, if we're on the sales side, they're going to pull in the marketing decision makers. And so make sure that however you're communicating, email, sales campaigns, display advertising, content syndication, that you're thinking about the stage of the opportunity that you're in and that you're matching the content that you have to that stage. The next thing that we've been doing at the top of the funnel is intent-driven display advertising. If you're not familiar with intent data, this is data that goes out, looks at what companies are researching on the B2B web, and then creates baselines for their regular amount of research on certain topics. So let's say cloud data platforms. One of the things that we do is we go out and we look at what every company is searching on the B2B web around cloud data platforms. We create a baseline, what their average search consumption and research consumption is on that topic. And then we look for places where it's spiking. When are companies doubling and tripling and quadrupling their research on very specific topics, thousands of them. And then we're using the spikes in their research on ZoomInfo, on sales intelligence, on lead generation, on demand generation. When those topics are spiking, we are taking those signals and driving display advertising at those specific companies and the individuals at those companies who are responsible for lead generation, marketing, sales type decisions. And so using intent as a layer over like retargeting or just broad company-based display advertising is super powerful, because many of those campaigns, they tend not to connect directly to performance. We hear this all the time. My marketing department is doing all this display advertising, but it's really hard to see that display advertising connect to a form fill or increased leads. And if you're in sales, what you want to see is sales rep picks up the phone, connects with the buyer, demo happens. With display advertising, that's really hard because it tends to be so broad-based. When you layer an intent layer on top of it, you're really able to see performance results start happening for you. So a super important way to leverage intent on top of display advertising.
Hey, Henry, real quick, just to let you know how important intent data is to your clients, because we work a lot of them. We've actually put leads in 3 different categories at QM now: inbound, outbound, and intent. So that's how much attention people are really paying to this now. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is something that's not going away. B2C companies do this so well. You go look at a shoe on Nordstrom, and for the next 2 weeks, that shoe is showing up all over the place. Other shoes are showing up that look like that shoe. And the B2B world is behind here. But pulling intent data that we've collected, that we've made available through ZoomInfo, that should be a part of how you're thinking about your go-to-market motion. The next one's pretty fun. Events have kind of gone away, but virtual events like this one are kind of all the rage. And so one of the things that we've focused on is creating intimate virtual events where we bring together like-minded groups of executives and then get them in a forum where they're talking about their go-to-market motion, where they're talking about areas in their funnel that are hard to solve for. And so we get, chief revenue officers at companies between 100 and 500 employees together in one place. We get chief marketing officers at startups together in one place. And we facilitate that virtual intimate event. And people want to be in that type of environment. People still yearn for knowledge share across their peers. And the pandemic has made that so much more difficult. So these intimate virtual events have been a great opportunity for us to increase top of the funnel. We've also done, and I've seen done, like wine tasting events. And so you get these people together at a happy hour time, you send everybody a bottle of wine, and everybody gets together and they have an opportunity to share knowledge and taste a bottle of wine that everybody just got.
So Henry, real quick, and I promise not to keep interrupting you, but this is a great topic because our marketing director, Linda Anderson, just got her wine master's certificate. And next year we're taking the ZoomInfo data, and actually going to do a pairing, so that we're going to do a pairing of your ICP to the Zoom data in alignment with a wine tasting to pair the wine.
Yep.
So really cool themes. Yep.
It is a really cool theme. And I did this, I went to one that a financial services firm put on, and my wife and I both went, and we sat in front of the TV. I mirrored my iPhone up on the TV, so the Zoom meeting was there, and it was a really actual enjoyable experience. So that's top of the funnel. Let's talk about the middle of the funnel. And this is where you're going to introduce your solution. You're going to guide the buying process. You're going to generate pipeline. Where the top of the funnel, we're driving awareness and reach and generating demand and interest. Here we want to focus on generating pipeline. So a couple of things we're doing: add or drop technologies. This is one of my favorite types of campaigns that so many people are not using. If you go to ZoomInfo today, one of the things you can subscribe to is technologies that companies use. And so, for example, on our website, there are a slew of digital breadcrumbs that tell you exactly what digital technology ZoomInfo is using. We're adding new technologies to that. We're removing technologies from that. And that's happening constantly throughout the year. So one of the things that we do is for our competitive set, or for companies that are tangential to what we do, we track their technologies. And so we know every time a company that is a client or a non-client adds or drops their technology from their website or from their technology stack, every time that happens, it becomes a major buying trigger for us. It could be a risk in the account. It could be an opportunity in the account. But knowing when your customers or prospects are adding or dropping key technologies in their stack is incredibly valuable to your go-to-market motion. In fact, this morning I woke up and thought, literally this morning I went, why am I not tracking our own technology pixels on a company's website? And so, looking at your own digital breadcrumbs and when companies are adding and dropping your own technologies, but also your competitors, really drives an efficient go-to-market motion. So I would make sure that you're subscribing in ZoomInfo to the technologies that are important to you, or if your provider allows you to do this, if it's not ZoomInfo, you should be leveraging the addition and subtraction of technologies in the stack. Winbacks. This is a great one. So if you're in the SaaS business, unfortunately, you probably lost some clients along the way. When we first started the business, this would happen and I would be dejected and upset, and I'd go like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? These guys hate us. They didn't like us. We didn't add value along the way. We let them down. But what we've learned along the way is, number one, when you lose a customer in the enterprise, you have an incredible opportunity to get back in. You're probably an approved vendor already. And so you need to find another pocket of opportunity, or you need to present your solution in a way that you otherwise didn't. In our enterprise accounts, 80% of the customers we lose, we bring back in the next 3 months, which is an incredible stat. And so instead of getting down about the companies you've lost, build a win-back motion. Whatever that motion is. For us, we go out to a broader set of key stakeholders. We bring them back in to the pipeline. We start the conversations new, but we don't let a lost client be the end of our motion to get that client again. And so make sure that even when you're losing clients, you're using that as an opportunity to re-engage with people in that account. That account is not dead. You should think of it as a paused motion, and that has been a huge driver of our business. 2021 planning. So we know that sales and marketing decision makers at our target accounts are in the middle of 2021 planning right now. They're doing territory and budget planning for sales. They're doing TAM and ICP analysis for marketing. And so what we've been doing is going out to those folks and pushing early migration incentives to our customers who are on our legacy platforms. We have a legacy ZoomInfo platform, a legacy DiscoverOrg platform, and then we have our new combined platform. That's pretty remarkable if you haven't taken a look at it yet. But we're going out to them and saying, look, you can use our new platform. We built all of these new functions and features that allow you to do that 2021 planning. You should come in and take a look at these things and migrate over to our new platform. And so in your businesses, you should be thinking about what are the things that we have that our decision makers are working on for 2021 and planning in 2021. And is there an opportunity now to use that as a triggering motion to go into those accounts and say, look, I know you're thinking about planning in 2021 around, whatever it is, WAN acceleration, cloud data platforms, network security. Come take a look at this right now while you're in that planning stage. Prior engagement. So we're going back into Q4 2019 and Q1 2020, and we're looking at the people who we had conversations with who didn't convert to customers. And so we're going back to them now with new campaigns and say, look, finding your next best customer is even more important in the midst of this pandemic than it ever has been. And so come take another look at ZoomInfo. Here are all the things that we've done. Here are the customers we worked with. You were engaged in the past. We think there's an opportunity to bring you back in. And so going, who you talked to a year ago, a year and 3 months ago, or 9 months ago. Go get those people back, get them back in the pipeline, run a call motion, run a sequence, an email sequence, and outreach back to them to get them back into the pipeline. We talked about enterprise expansion, but another motion that we're doing is around different business departments within an enterprise, or business units within an enterprise. So instead of just going after different sales functions within an enterprise, now we're going after demand gen, revenue operations, sales operations, marketing operations, product marketing. And so in like any business that has a cross-sell upsell motion, once you're in an account, you have this great opportunity to spread out across that account. And so right now we're going after different buyer personas with messaging that matches those different buyer personas. Because I'm not going to say the same thing to a VP of sales that I say to a VP of marketing. I'm not going to say the same thing to a VP of marketing that I say to a director of demand gen. And so I'm going after those different departments with different messaging to get them back in different business units within our enterprise accounts. So if you have great enterprise accounts, it's a great opportunity to start finding new ways into them and new departments that you can be selling into them.
And Henry, real quick on that topic, because we've struggled with this ourselves, right? If we don't have executive buy-in and your decision maker decides to leave or they get removed from the organization, your business is extremely at risk.
Yep.
So not only are you upselling, and the ability to maybe grow the business, but it also is a good way to secure you don't lose that business long-term as well.
Totally. It's a great point, Matt. And this happens. Our whole business is based on executives moving from company to company, right? 30% of people are moving jobs and changing jobs every year. And if you're single threaded in an account or you're just in one single department, that puts a lot of risk on your business. And so you should be doing a lot to spread out across the company. So this is a great point, Matt. We're running an auto trial offer to non-users at customer accounts. So I'm not sure how applicable this might be for everybody, but just as a motion that we're running, if you're a customer of ours and let's say you're deployed across 100 sales users, but there are another 400 sales users. Maybe they're international, they sell a different product or service, they're in a different region. We're going to those users at customer accounts and saying, or non-users at those customer accounts and saying, hey, click this button, auto provision into a trial of ZoomInfo, see how you like it. We're collecting feedback from those users while they're in the trial, automated feedback that says how many more meetings they've set, how many conversations they've had, how many new deals they've sold. Then we're packaging that up, going back up to the chief revenue officer or the SVP of sales and saying, look, we have 100 users. We just auto provisioned another 100. Here are the results that they're seeing. Let's find a way to get them access to ZoomInfo as well. And so that's been a great motion for us as well. So let's talk about bottom of the funnel. Here we're operationalizing funnel improvements and we're improving conversion rates. So we're closing the business that's been generated throughout the top and the middle of the funnel in a more predictable and a higher conversion rate. So first, we're accelerating the trial for unconverted MQL. So what this means, because it's a little bit, it doesn't sound like a real sentence, but what this means is, let's say somebody comes in, they fill out a form, they do a demo, and then after 7 days, they don't convert into, they come into our pipeline, they sign up for a demo, they don't show up, they never convert to the demo. We're going back to those folks and saying, hey, look, we know you came in, you filled out a form, you were interested in ZoomInfo, but you never actually connected with an account executive. That's fine. Here's a free trial. Here's free trial access for you. They can click a button, auto provision into that free trial, and then our salesperson comes through and tries to sell them. And look, our best product is our salespeople. They are a fantastic advocate for what we sell. They're able to help customers and prospects understand our platform and the value they can get out of it. But look, if we can't get them to agree to engage with the salesperson, we still want them to see the power of the platform. And so creating this auto provisioning motion into a trial when people didn't connect with a salesperson is a valuable way for us to get people to stay interested.
And Henry, real fast, I see a lot of tech companies struggle in this area. And I used to tell a lot of our reps when we were training them, right? You could tell the customer that the product could be free or it could be $1 million. And it really doesn't matter at that point because you haven't solved the problem for them.
Yep.
You guys do an extremely good job of having your sales folks engage in an intelligent manner. But it does go to, you need to really think about from the other side of it, where some of the companies that may not have as well-trained folks that solve the problem first, right? And then once that trial starts, they should see an engagement. But there's a lot of trials that go on and the engagement doesn't happen. So hearing, Danny and I were talking before, somebody from your team, about this auto provisioning or auto trial piece. And I hadn't heard of this before. So this is very, very interesting to me to hear about.
Yeah, this is interesting too, because a lot of businesses, they are built or they get started built on this motion where you get a free trial and then they convert you to a paid motion. Slack, Zoom conferencing is like that. SurveyMonkey is like that. And you can build a big business there, but it is like incredibly, like there's a lot of science that goes behind getting that motion to go right. And the most powerful way to do that is put someone in front of a salesperson who understands your product, who has talked to hundreds of other people just like you and understood their problems and how they were solving them. But some people just don't want to talk to a salesperson. And so we still want them to become customers. And so we put this in place. This next one is one, Matt, that we kind of touched on a bit, but on the new business side, one of the things that we're doing is we're going out and we're seeing that if you're in a sales process and you have an open opportunity on the new business side, 7 days after the creation of that opportunity, we go out and we look for specific people at the account to bring into the fold in an automated way. So we go, look, you have an opportunity. You're talking to a VP of sales. We don't see a CEO you're talking to the VP of sales at a 100-person company. We don't see the CEO. We don't see a director or VP of marketing engaged in that account. In an automated way, we go capture those people from ZoomInfo. We put them in an automated campaign and we bring them into the fold on the opportunity. And so you don't want to be single threaded in these things. Like you can have a great advocate and then it gets down to the last minute and they have to go bring marketing over and the CEO over. And that's a much more challenging position for a sales rep to be in versus you're working an opportunity and then your with the VP of sales and the VP of marketing comes over and goes, hey, have you heard of this company ZoomInfo? That's gold. Yeah, I have. Let's look at it together. Like come to the next demo. I'm meeting with the AE on Friday. And so creating an opportunity where your champion in the company doesn't have to go it alone. You can create some buzz around the company, around your product and solution this way, and be multi-threaded in an account is incredibly valuable.
I mean, Henry, a lot of times we start at ground zero when that happens, right? I've had accounts getting down to 90% commit, getting ready to close next week. An executive pops up, literally, and starting the entire process over again and kind of re-educating on what we're trying to solve.
It's so painful. And by the way, like some executives believe that their role is to blow things like this up. Like, so they just show up and they think like part of the value they bring is like finding reasons to not do something. And so you're in a tough position if you can't get the CEO or some executive to feel like this is a common idea or it's also their idea. And so you can help them by marketing and selling and communicating with them in the middle of a buying process. And we use demand gen to do that so that we don't feel like, so our champion doesn't feel like the AE went around him or didn't trust him or something like that. So, and then finally, number 12, executive sponsor messaging. And so we're messaging to our high spend accounts coming up for renewal to generate an executive to executive relationship and executive to executive conversations. These are incredibly valuable, but we're going out to our larger accounts and saying, hey, you're an important account for us. In fact, today, Matt, when we're done here, I have a call with one of our larger accounts that was set up just this way. Hey, you're a large account. You're important to us. We want to have executive alignment with our relationship. Do you have time to take a call with myself, our VP of account manager, our chief of account management, our chief revenue officer? We want to establish those kinds of relationships with you. Those relationships are invaluable in these types of accounts. And they come with second order sales. Again, those executives aren't going to be there forever. So they're going to leave. And if you've built a good relationship, they're going to call you when they get to their next company. And so take advantage of getting your executives connected with the executives at your target accounts. Those are the 12, Matt.
Well, that was really great, Henry. I mean, I'm still amazed and at all of everything that you guys have built over there at ZoomInfo. I've seen the culture and I've seen that camaraderie since, back in 2008. And I'm still as extremely jealous of it now as I was then. Congratulations to the success you guys had. If it's not by accident, right? There's a lot of will and skill, as one of my old executives used to say to me all the time. And that's something where, I'm not always going to outsmart everyone, but I will be there every day grinding it out. And I think that your entire organization has always been there for the clients and been there for each other. And I think that's what separates you from the rest of the organizations that you compete with out there. But thank you very much for participating in OPPtoberfest.
Thank you for having me, Matt. We're big fans of Qualified Meetings and everything you've done for our clients to help them go to market. So we're excited to be here with you. And we're excited to continue offering best-in-class services for our customers and hope to have long-term relationships with them the same way that we've had with you, Matt. So thank you, everybody, for joining.
Thank you. And everybody stay tuned for the next session. We really appreciate it.